And every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Tyrus, I was talking about this in the 5, that I kind of like her for being, she's like a retro 70s mom.
Yeah, you like
Everyone looked like her.
Why don't you have dinner with her, Greg?
Tyrus made a move no one saw coming. He decided to call out Katie Porter to, yes, the famous PowerPoint queen from California. The massive wrestler stepped straight into the state's stormy political ring like it was his main event. But what made him take a swing at a politician best known for her epic whiteboard moments? Did someone pull him into the spotlight, or did he jump in on his own? One thing's for sure, things are about to get hilariously wild as strength meets smarts in this unexpected showdown.
Don't order the potatoes, Greg.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, there's nothing nice about her. Why do we have to, like, in her defense, I was waiting for the practical, usual woman defense. Whenever someone, why did you do that? Why do you? Well, they did something to upset me. It was somebody else's fault. There's no accountability, nothing new. So, yeah, you didn't like that, did you, ladies? Because you guys do that stuff. But the worst part about her is that she, like, it's Halloween, and she's coming out now.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to skip this part. Before we keep going, make sure to tap that like button and subscribe for more. This time, the main act stepped into the spotlight wearing a power blazer and a glare bright enough to rival the California sun. And let's be honest, California's political scene has always been a bit of a circus. Somehow, the idea of accountability and Katie Porter, who proudly calls herself its biggest champion, ended up feeling more like a standoff than a cause.
Scary. Oh, it's scary. Like, if she jumped out of a dark alley, I would throw you in front of me to get away from her. And she's done this before. She has scared everybody in this audience in our childhood. Remember Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah.
When he was on the road in Texas, Large Marge rolled up, it was that one right there. Kennedy's having a flashback.
I said that the other day on the phone.
Tyrus stepped in just as she was about to stroll into the governor's mansion. Apparently, the political circus had found its new bouncer. At first, the scene was pretty casual. The group of 5 chatted over coffee, joking about which California crisis to tackle next. Would it be sky-high gas prices, roaring wildfires, or the never-ending mystery of affordable housing disappearing into thin air?
Play that. This is what she's trying to say.
President Biden has said that inflation is the #1 priority for the Biden White House to try to get under control right now. As you're out there in California talking to constituents during this re-election year for Congress, how does inflation compare to this newly important, in the sense of the Supreme Court decision pending, abortion issue? How do those two issues compare?
Watch, it's not compare.
Well, I don't think they compare. I think they actually reinforce each other.
The friendly morning chat quickly turned spooky, almost like a Halloween special, the moment Katie Porter's name came up. Suddenly, Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld transformed into 2 coffee-sipping experts, analyzing her every move. One joked that she looked like a mom straight out of the 1970s, while the other claimed she had the exact opposite of stage charm. And just like that, everyone watching was reminded, oh, right, politics really is just pro wrestling with fancier lights.
You love to hate. Our video of the day comes from that lump of grumpy potatoes, Katie Porter, who wants to be California's next governor. She was recently asked if more damning clips of her might be released, which is like asking Jesse Waters if he's offended any foreigners lately. She refused to say.
Should California voters feel confident that there aren't any more Katie Porter videos out there?
Well, what I know is that I could have done better in those moments. I'm going to be focused on earning their votes and earning their trust.
Tyrus didn't need many words to get his point across. His expression said it all. It was almost unbelievable that he found this woman more intimidating than the men he wrestles for a living. Because let's be honest, Katie Porter doesn't just walk into a room. She marches in like a no-nonsense substitute teacher ready to end recess early. As she launched into another passionate speech, you could almost hear imaginary chalk screeching on the board. California doesn't need a governor. It needs a guidance counselor with a calm down class. That's what made Tyrus calling her out so oddly satisfying. It wasn't personal. It felt like a public service announcement. After all, being a leader shouldn't feel like serving detention. And then there was Greg Gutfeld, never one to miss a chance for a little creative chaos, fueling the moment by diagnosing her with reverse charisma. Think about it. Regular charisma makes people like you. Reverse charisma somehow does the complete opposite.
Like my
ball breaker
friends'
from the
mothers
Porkies?
when I was a kid. There's like something very retro about her. But Molly, you know what she has? She has reverse charisma. You know, like when you, charisma is if you have power and empathy, because people like Bill Clinton, he had power, but he had empathy, and then he tried to bang it. She has like reverse empathy where she has power, but she lords it over the people that are in her like employment.
And what's so weird about this is she's a politician. And you might like
Yes.
think they're cruel and narcissistic, and she's like definitely showing that. But usually they're good at like hiding it.
It's like a people repellent. When Katie Porter walks into a diner, everyone instantly knows they're not leaving on time. That's the magic of reverse charisma. When your campaign ad airs and even your fans switch over to the Weather Channel just to recharge. Greg Gutfeld may have meant his joke to be funny, but it hit a little too close to home. That's exactly what makes Porter fascinating. She might not bring the warmth, but she has every bit of the skill, confidence, and righteous fire. It's like watching a Quentin Tarantino version of a Hallmark movie. Every sentence feels like a showdown, and even her smiles seem to fight their way through. Tyrus didn't need evidence or a long speech. His reaction had the impact of a body slam. Funny thing is, the people who talk the most about accountability often seem to skip taking it themselves. Porter constantly reminds everyone how vital it is to hold others responsible. But when the spotlight turns her way, she whips out her trusty whiteboard to explain why it's not her turn. It's less politics and more performance, like she's the teacher grading her own test, and every debate feels like a surprise quiz.
You ought to just embrace it at this point, because it's all out there. She should just say, look, I throw mashed potatoes at people. I'm a total nightmare. I berate my staff, but I'm going to work hard for you, the voter, because there's no getting out from this.
What are the chances of Katie Porter actually winning and becoming the governor of California?
If she's the Democratic nominee, because of the way that the registered voters are and what they appear to be showing, it's about 85%, 90% right now.
It's a strange kind of irony, almost beautiful in its own way. While Katie Porter champions open debate and diverse opinions, the state she's running in often feels more like a political homeowners association where one group calls all the shots. The only thing scarier than California's taxes might just be the lack of real opposition. Tyrus picked up on that too. Right now, California feels like the world's biggest echo chamber. You don't need fresh ideas or a winning smile to rise in politics there. All it takes is for the media to chant equity 3 times and suddenly you've got a spotlight like Beetlejuice with a press pass. Porter wasn't just shaped by that system, she was built for it. When everything's already tilted in your favor, there's no pressure to win hearts. And that's where the trouble began. She got too comfortable. Then came the moment that set the internet buzzing. She admitted in her perfectly serious tone that she doesn't really like people who vote differently. It spread like wildfire. The first person brave enough to point it out got treated like a DMV clerk 2 hours past their lunch break. And that's exactly why Tyrus's roast struck gold. It wasn't mean, it was observant. He nailed the truth. Porter doesn't even try to be charming anymore. Her entire campaign energy could be summed up as, I dare you to like me.
I do know is that I could have done better in that situation.
But that's not a no. So is there potentially another video that we're going to see?
Nikki, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that video was several years ago, as you know, and I apologize to the staffer. That's super important to me, and will continue to try to hold myself to do better. That's what I can promise.
The more a politician refuses to answer a question.
Even with California's one-of-a-kind voters, empathy still wins over intimidation, which probably means Porter's campaign strategist is sweating bullets somewhere. Californians say they want kindness, yet they keep electing people who look like they'd scold them for breathing too loudly. Greg Gutfeld made that point crystal clear when he chimed in, at least most politicians pretend to be likable. Clinton had charm. Obama radiated warmth. Reagan flashed a movie star smile. Even Trump knew how to make people laugh. For Katie Porter, though, leadership seems to come with a built-in timeout. She corrects, interrupts, lectures, and takes charge, but never quite connects. Ask 10 California voters how she makes them feel, and 9 would say, nervous, while the 10th would start apologizing on the spot. Tyrus joked, she looks like she'd jump out of a dark alley on Halloween. And honestly, that's not even an exaggeration. It's practically her brand. If politics doesn't pan out Halloween headquarters probably has a management job waiting with her name on it.
These examples of Katie Porter's behavior, accusations of blaming staff for giving her COVID, using racist language, covering up sexual harassment, domestic violence against her ex-husband. She was even accused of burning his scalp with potatoes. Ouch. And others saying she just wants fame and power. Gotta be nice to that staff. All accusations at this point, but there seems to be a pattern of alleged physical and verbal abuse.
The humor hit even harder, thanks to a touch of nostalgia. The retro 70s mom comment went viral because, well, there was some truth to it. Porter gives off the vibe of someone who enforces democracy's bedtime. She's the political version of I'm not mad, just disappointed, delivered with full PTA energy. Of course, the joke's on us. She's both mad and disappointed. You can almost hear the groovy soundtrack of a 1976 funk movie playing in the background. Even Kennedy couldn't resist joining the fun, reacting like she'd just seen a ghost from an old Pee Wee Herman flick. Porter's campaign ad didn't help either. It looked surprisingly real, shot in black and white, complete with thunder rumbling behind her. Her expression practically shouted from the rearview mirror, "Don't litter or else." What started as a roast on the 5 turned into something deeper. Beneath all the laughs was a sharper truth. Porter isn't just a political figure, she's a reflection of California's one-party system, where comfort replaces challenge and entitlement grows while real competition fades away.
I will say I think that her performance here proves that she's ready for the national stage.
Yes.
She took control of the interview the way she'll take control of our nation's problems. No, I don't believe that, but I do believe that that is what everyone on her staff told her.
Yeah.
I think that she's walking around being like, I nailed this, because if that is how she acts on camera when she knows she's being recorded, then how do you think she acts off camera if someone actually criticizes her?
That's what makes Tyrus's remark feel so refreshing. He's not pretending to be a policy expert. He's just an ordinary guy calling out the absurdity. As he sized up Porter's personality, it felt like someone had finally pointed out that the emperor's new clothes were paid for with taxpayer money. Greg, ever the skeptic, kept peeling back the layers with his usual grin. For everyone tired of California's political deja vu, the moment turned what could have been another snoozy debate into something closer to a live-action therapy session. And in the process, it exposed something odd about today's progressive scene. Their sense of humor seems to have vanished. Somewhere between the endless moral lectures and climate pledges, the ability to laugh simply left the room. Porter treats sarcasm the way a cat treats water, completely intolerable. Her voters don't need to love her. She just needs them to obey. And that's exactly what Tyrus was poking fun at. He wasn't teasing her looks or her wardrobe. He was joking about a culture that actually rewards being unapproachable. It's a system that mistakes intimidation for leadership. California keeps buying the same product. It's just changed the label on the box.
Porter allegedly told her, "You looked bad the other night." She said, "You mean the interview?" And he said, "What interview?"
Now imagine that same attitude playing out on a national level. A leader who sees every bit of criticism as an attack and treats kindness like a weakness. You'd end up with exactly what the panel described. Someone with power, but no empathy, who issues orders instead of inspiration and sees voters not as citizens, but as students who flunked her class. That's what made the roast so satisfying. It wasn't just comedy, it was a clever reflection of how cold and mechanical modern politics has become. And Porter, driven by sheer determination, walked right into it. Greg could probably write a full thesis on the subject, American Politics, Charm in Reverse. Tyrus's calm, straight-faced delivery captured what millions think, but rarely say out loud. Even the Halloween comparison wasn't random. It fit perfectly. Every election season, Porter reappears with the same fierce energy, haunting conference rooms and crushing optimism. Honestly, it's easy to picture this year's spookiest costume. Look, Mom, I'm the spirit of unmet accountability, the kind of costume that makes everyone laugh and shiver just a little.
The fact that things like inflation can happen and it can become more expensive to feed your kids and to fuel your car.
Have an abortion.
Is exactly why people need to be able to be in charge of how many mouths they're going to have to feed. So I think the fact that we're seeing this jump in expenses.
Am I taking crazy pills?
That we're seeing people having to pay more in the grocery store, pay more at the pump.
Can you stop it? Guys, you understand that? She's saying, guys, listen, and this is during Biden, right? She's like, groceries are going to be expensive, so if you're pregnant, that should be a reason for you to kill the baby in your...
Even though she clearly clearly craves complete trust from the public, Porter doesn't have the spark to make people enjoy giving it. When most politicians say something outrageous, half the country argues while the other half laughs. But when Porter says something offbeat, everyone just quietly closes their laptops and moves on. Boldness only works when people want to watch it happen. Otherwise, it's just background noise on a talk show. That's the key difference between entertainers and enforcers. Trump knew how to put on a show. Porter knows how to issue commands. One captivates a crowd, the other delivers a lecture. And oddly enough, in 2025, that contrast might be more revolutionary than any bill Congress could pass. The funniest part, Porter will probably double down. She'll call the criticism sexist, cut the joke short, and schedule another town hall to prove how serious she is. And so the cycle spins again. PowerPoint, outrage, and denial. Her trademark trilogy.
I cannot stop thinking about Katie Porter. The dumbest thing she can do is what she tried to do in that interview with Julie Watts, where she plasters this miserable, pained, fake smile on her face. Like, I don't want this to get negative. I just want this to be positive because I'm such a good person. I'm a leader. I'm a strong leader.
Meanwhile, California keeps slipping further into chaos. Politicians argue endlessly over plastic bags while crime rises and housing prices skyrocket. Maybe that's what made Tyrus's comments hit so hard. He wasn't just roasting Katie Porter, he was poking fun at the entire political circus of the state. Her campaign preaches empathy, but her tone could sentence you to detention. And somehow, the Five turned that tension into comedy gold, using sharp wit to spotlight a real problem. It was almost poetic. A wrestler and a satirist teaming up to expose the emotional gap in modern progressive politics. Every punchline carried a hint of truth, chilly, awkward, and painfully real. Porter's ambition isn't the issue, it's her approach. She doesn't aim to connect, she aims to control. What she truly wants isn't approval, but authority. And nothing drains charisma faster than the constant need to command.
Be the Democrat nominee. And then from there, you just look at the voting. And by the way, I think it's close. I think the Republican candidate crosses 40, which would be unusual. But I would see, what if you see like a 57-41-3, because Green Libertarian? You see something like that, suddenly you realize that there's a shift.
When voters in California see another Katie Porter campaign ad, they'll notice more than a politician. They'll see the spirit of Large March herself, the living symbol of all the lectures no one signed up for, the black and white tone, the thunderous background, the scolding stare. It all returns like a ghost haunting every campaign season. Tyrus's steady, booming voice still echoes in people's minds, reminding them that cold leadership is just power dressed up for applause. Each time Porter lectures instead of inspires, voters remember Greg Gutfeld's reverse charisma theory, the idea that some leaders repel instead of attract. It's funny because it's true. Her style, more enforcement than empathy, mirrors California's one-party comfort zone, where authority replaces warmth and slogans stand in for real connection. That's why the roast felt bigger than a punchline. When Tyrus and Greg turned political stiffness into comedy, they didn't just make fun of Porter, they spotlighted a state that's forgotten how to laugh. Amid sky-high housing costs, rising crime, and endless debates about plastic bags, their humor landed like a public service. California once dreamed boldly, but now it tiptoes through its own political circus. Maybe what it really needs isn't another town hall or PowerPoint, it's a sense of humor, because sometimes laughter doesn't just expose hypocrisy, it restores balance. Katie Porter wanted to be the face of strength in California politics. Instead, she became the nation's reminder that even the most serious leaders can turn into punchlines. And perhaps the real moral is this: never challenge someone who's better at telling jokes than writing policies.